Hey, everybody, set to go on a rainy Wednesday, kicking off the third full week this season here at Gulfstream West. Jason and Ronnie from our respective studios, wherever you are, and that goes for you, Ronnie. I hope you're dry here in what's been a torrential downpour type Wednesday so far.
Yeah, it's been raining nonstop for a couple hours, so we're going to have a sloppy track, and we're going to be off the turf, of course, this afternoon. But we got some races here. We got 8 races to look at, and I'm staying pretty dry here underneath this covering I have, so we'll see how long we last. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking good, like the tie, and without further ado, on more of an abbreviated Wednesday edition of GPW today, we'll get into my opening pick 5 play, which off the bat, Ralph Nix is going to have a horse I would imagine will be favored when it's all said and done, and that is the form of the 10, Lost a Legend, who in hindsight ran okay, actually ran pretty well considering the bad start going 5 against Poppy's Pride. He lands in a race pretty much dominated by Turf Bound and Turf Wanting Maiden, so I singled him for $18. Looking down, I'm trying to think if I got anything sort of goofy or maybe a big priced horse. In fact, speaking of Ralph, I also like his race 4 bound number 1 Spear Gun, who I think is going to be tough. I don't really have anything too out of the ordinary in an off-the-turf early pick 5 sequence. And, you know, that's the state of affairs here, Ronnie, as we check out this sloppy track bound field, a 2-year-old group of, again, off-the-turf maidens at 7 furlongs. And you and I both taking a horse who got bet, clunked up for second, but in hindsight, what chance did he have after the sluggish start against Poppy's Pride? It was a rocket ship going 5 furlongs.
Yeah, and Poppy's Pride, consecutive wins. After that win, another win. So Lost the Legend, stretching out, and just thinking with this one going to the off track this afternoon was the right one. Conrad the Red is the son of Tonal, is debuting from Mark Cassie. They thought enough to keep this horse in today. And the horse you have in the second, I have a third, Barnegat Light, who's cutting back to 7 furlongs. Heard some, finished a promising 4th behind King Buddha when it was on the turf.
Yeah, when the turf was favoring speed across town. No, I thought Barnegat Light actually ran pretty well in that first start for Tim Ham. Question obviously being a summer front, will he be able to do it on the dirt this afternoon? Dirt bound, in fact, a scheduled dirt race coming up in Wednesday 2nd as we go 7. In fact, both halves of the early double go at 7/8. 2-year-old fillies in this $50,000 to $40,000 maiden claim, and I think you've got basically, in my mind, 2 main bullets. The outside posted horse who I wrote about in my analysis, who I like a decent amount in the 7, Pretty Rachel. Why don't we show you her last start, knocking heads with the very important 3-horse rematch from Gulfstream on September 17th. There was nothing too crazy in this race other than I feel as though on this second Sunday card of the season here at Gulfstream West, there were 9 total. We ran 19 races on between October 3rd and October 4th. 9 of the 19, because there was no turf, were 1 wire to wire. And I wanted more or less just to emphasize that outside chasing trip with Pretty Rachel, where it almost looks like the horses in that 2nd and 3rd tier were almost in quicksand and deep stretch. She got on track late, but was beaten by Miss Italy, who wired the field and paid a good price. I like her. I don't know how much of a jump up this is. I don't, in my mind, I don't know if this race is all that much tougher than the 25 maiden claimer that Pretty Rachel comes out of. Now, again, the other key bullet point, 3 horses rematching off the 6th race at Gulfstream September 17th. You prefer the 4 Love in Her Eyes, who's got trainer Carlos David. I didn't think she did a ton of running, but I guess she could step forward here in her second dirt start.
You're going to stretch out to the 7 furlongs, responded to both the drop down and the addition of blinkers with that improved 3rd place finish going 6. Carlos David, Paco Lopez in the saddle. Paco back for us for the winter here. So Paco in the saddle, Shiny Empire. I'm going to go back and revisit your 7 ahead a little further down the ticket. But, yeah, nobody could close that October 4th day.
Yeah, she's just a horse I like betting back, who I thought was trip compromised October 4th. And, again, of that important rematch, I want the 6 Shiny Empire. Just thought she did. Although she didn't beat Love in Her Eyes, I thought she did the most meaningful running as a like a hard outside chaser in that race across town in Hallandale. We'll move on to the Rainbow 6, my friend, here in Wednesday's 3rd. We'll go 5 furlongs on the dirt with this 12-5 to 10-5 claimer. Not an easy race to start things out. There's a number of horses like the two Frenchman Street who have run pretty well on the dirt. What's the ticket looking like?
I got a $43.20 ticket, and you're right about it. Went 3 deep in the opening leg with the 1-2, this Frenchman Street, and the 12 Money Come, who's stepping up after a rocketing clear on that fast track. So 2 deep in race number 4 with the horse you were talking about, Spear Gun. But I also used Sadio in there. Race number 5 this afternoon, big scratch in that race. So I went with Kicking In, Zamet, and Chill Hayes in that particular race. Race number 6, I think our prerogative with the move to the main track is the one to beat. But I also used Midtown Rose, who's a 6-time winner on the dirt for Safi. Got to handle the off track this afternoon. Race number 7, 2 deep with Trapezoid and Long Gray Line. And then the last 3, 5, and 11, Hero Tiger, Reagan's Heart, and Killer D for me, 43 and 20.
1-2-12 for you, and in fact, I've got a 1-2 in this opening leg of the Rainbow. And by the way, congratulations to whoever took it down on Sunday afternoon. The guarantee was $275,000, and sure enough, 9 of the 12, Ronnie, I mean, 3/4 of the Sunday nightcap field covered, and sure, Shandam, who drew in, he was a jackpot, and he kicked clear to a convincing W.
Not the West. When we were handicapping that race, both of us looked down at the 13 horse who got in and said, uh-oh, I think this might be the winner of the race, and sure enough, it was. And a lot of people tweeting saying, why did it pay $249? It was takeout and all that. That's why the $275 was the guarantee, but they have to take whatever they take out.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call there. But again, 1-2-12 for you, and I'm going to go 1-2 in this spot, 1-2-8, in fact. And you've got, I mean, shared parallels with the inside posted Small Fortune and the two Frenchman Street. Both of them have top connections. They both handle the dirt, and I thought they both looked pretty good in this race.
Yeah, exactly what I thought. Moved to the Safi Joseph Jr. Run the 2 Frenchman Street. Has run well on the wet track. Bond is really good with first off the claim. Small Fortune, has run well on wet tracks. I thought those were the logical 2. And Money Come stepping up just because it showed that speed on the fast track to defeat those 2 lifetime claimers. Thought maybe this one, depending how the track plays, could be a little bit of a danger in there.
Like Ralph Nix in the first this afternoon, also like him in the 4th as he sends out Spear Gun, who, again, found his way into my Wednesday late pick 5 ticket. And in kind of giving a brief summation to the late pick 5 sequence, you've got Spear Gun from the inside post. Can we look at the ticket, please, guys? Thank you. $18 my single, and coverage the remainder of the way. So there's the ticket with the Spear Gun as the anchor here. And again, I think for this level, Ronnie, for these 2-year-old 32K maiden claimers, because it's a field outside of Spear Gun, and I guess to an extent the 3 Little Dude, but other than them, you've got first-time starters left and right. I feel as though with who Spear Gun has faced on the dirt to this point, I think a firster's going to have to be pretty good to defeat him as he gets back on the main this afternoon.
We'll show you a quick stat on Ralph Nix with the 2-year-olds, which this horse is going turf to dirt. He's 5 for 17, 29%. He's in the money 59% of the time. And if 143 is a return of investment, Sadio is, I threw on my ticket too as the son of Tapiture debuting for Victor Barboza. Solid morning work tab showing. So I thought maybe this horse would run okay. But I'm with you. I think Spear Gun is the one to beat.
He'll go from the inside. We move on to race 5, cast of 7. And for the non-turf races, which are obviously on the dirt, but again, for the non-scheduled grass races, I feel as though the 5th houses the biggest defection or early scratch in the 5, Wesley Owen, who I had liked as a wire-to-wire winner for Peter Walder, and he's one of 2 defections out of this race, along with the 7, Feast. You've got some guesswork, and I mean, outside of maybe the 4, Chill Haze, and I guess to an extent the 3, Sea Trident, you've got mostly firsters and second-time starters, and I wound up scratching into a firster who you've got second in the 8, Zamet, who at least he's a competitive edge, Pomeroy, bred to be pretty quick and a win-early type pedigree, and he might like a wet track as well. I'll take him as a guess in that one from the outside.
Yeah, and I scratched into the 8. I kicking his dropping to the 25 level and finished 5th in his 32 career debut, going 6th at the championship meet for Gary Jackson. Had Peter's horse on top, scratched into the 5, have the 9 that you have, and also the 4, Chill Haze, who might run okay.
Who's had a lot of chances to this point, but he's run okay here and there, and maybe he likes that field on the wet track. We'll see. 6th race is an off-the-turf 5 furlong dash for the 3-and-up fillies and mares. quite a bit of speed. In fact, looking at the 3 Airball, who's going to try the dirt today, and even the 11 Swirling Candy, I mean, they both have a lot of quality, both of those horses on the turf, yet it does look like not only is the dirt a big question mark, it looks like they may hook one another eye to eye. And unfortunately for them and everybody else, I mean, you've got 2, for the level, legitimate dirt horses in the race in the 10 Midtown Rose, and of course our top pick, the number 2, Our Prerogative. They're dirt specialists, Ronnie. I mean, they're in a good spot this afternoon.
And not only dirt special, Our Prerogative, perfect 2 for 2 on the wet track. Midtown Rose, a 6-time winner on the dirt for Safi. And Swirling Candy has speed, but has never tried a wet track before. And Airball, been in razor. I'm surprised they left this one in.
Me too.
I
know.
This one, they're going to try the main track for the first time, but really going for 3 victories in a row, 2 of those, of course, on the turf.
Oh, she's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I am a big Airball fan. And again, we thank everybody. I mean, guys that are taking shots like Carlos David with a horse who's probably, win or lose, going to be a little bit better on the turf. No, we absolutely appreciate a horseman staying in and taking a shot, and an interesting little 6th race. Out to 2 turns on a card which is very much comprised of mostly 1-turn sprints, but we're out to 2 turns here for the 7th. We'll go a mile, and for you and I, a cold 6-8-9-1 super to the hoop. The race is about the 6 Trapezoid, who, stretching back out in distance, it does look like for 8K, he is just a real handful on paper, returning to the scene here at GPW for trainer J.C. Avila.
Yeah, moving to his barn today and stretching out to a mile after rallying to finish second when dropped to this level for the previous connections. Edgar Zayas certainly adds to the appeal in there. Long gray line beating the neck at this level and distance a couple of starts back. And you got Earthquake trying to shake things up. We'll throw that
all right,
corny
fair enough.
thing in
There you go, dude.
You got to get one corny one in there.
Yeah, you're the king of the puns. What can I say? Well, let's end things here. Around 4 Eastern. We'll start at noon. We wrap up at about 4. And we're off the turf. We'll go 5 on the main in the finale. 12-5 to 10-5, a claiming race, and good recent form, and a 2-way hitter and 2-way player, Ronnie, in the 5 in the form of the 5, Hero Tiger, who's sharp and can handle the dirt.
Yeah, he was good in the slop, 2 starts back. So I thought Hero Tiger was the one to beat. Reagan's Heart comes off a 3 lifetime score on the main track, likes a wet track, 5 starts, 2 wins, 2nd into 3rd. And then we basically have the same super, just boxed up a little bit. And Killer D entered for the main track for Rohan.
And a reclaim for Rohan with speed from the outside. Now, that horse in a way might be the most important runner off the reclaim for a trainer, who in fact is number 1 in the standings, as we take a little time out on a sloppy Wednesday here at GPW and go up to our man Pete Aiello in the booth.